Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Challenges, and today's day 18. We do have a little bit of an easier sentence today to go over, and it's the following. She kisses my cheek and slides the panel over the mirror. I think my mother could be beautiful in a different world. So we have here two clear clauses and sentences. Again, just going back to very difficult sentences that we've done yesterday and the day before, teaches us kind of the process of dividing out our sentences and clauses. So in this case, we have one long um, sentence here, okay, uh, and without any punctuation, just a period at the end, and then we have a comma over here, okay. So essentially we have what we think are three ideas, but remember that this comma, which is not really necessary, grammatically speaking, because we have a preposition following beautiful, but it is there to get you to pause, um, moving from this thought to that one. I'll explain it a little bit in a moment. But first, let's look at the next component, which is subject and predicate. So, subject found at the beginning of every sentence. So here it is, she. And predicate should be right next to it, which is kisses. Okay. And then we go to our next sentence, which is starts with I, and there's our subject and preposition think. Okay, so we have two ideas. She kisses, I think. Um, Now we can look at our noun cases. So what does she kiss? If you're answering that question, you are discovering the direct object, which in this case is cheek. Whose cheek? It's my cheeks. There's our possessive. All right. And then we have and. So remember that and will always join two things together. It can join two separate clauses together. It could also join two nouns together. Now, here we have the word slides. Okay, slides is a verb. And notice there is no subject before it. That's because the subject is already expressed at the start of our sentence. So slides is just a continuation of the subject she. So she, subject, predicate. Now, if I put a she right here, right after and, okay, we would need a comma, okay, right here. If there was a she. Remember the Oxford comma when we did our punctuation. When there's an express subject following an and, you need a comma, but in this case, we don't because we don't have an express subject. So she slides. What does she slide? The panel. There's our direct object. Okay, and then we have over. Remember, we're reading this sentence one word at a time, and the reason for that is you're training your mind to ask questions as you go. So over, if I read it on its own, the very first thing coming to my mind is over what, and there it is, over the mirror, which makes this a preposition and is the object of the preposition. So far so good. The first sentence I think has gone relatively well, and from the submissions I received today, I was blown away that many of you not only saw the subject and predicate here, but also recognized that this is also a predicate, and this was flawless, guys. Thank you. Next one is a little bit tricky because we have this, I think. Now, when I read I think, and you're saying, well, what do I think? I can't say I think book. I have to say I think about a book. But if I say I think, and what starts right after this is another noun like a subject, followed by a predicate, which we have could be beautiful, okay? We have something called an indirect statement. So if I was to do something like this, okay, this entire section of this sentence is governed or is a direct object of what I'm thinking. Okay. So the only thing that's missing between the think and my mother is that. Okay? Now, in many languages in the world, this would be expressed. Okay, you would not be able to really get away with not writing that, but in English we can, because our minds automatically assume that what I'm thinking is this. Okay, so just remember, every time you see verbs of thinking, saying, um, those will usually take something called an indirect statement, which is technically the direct object of what you're thinking. So mother, in this case, is a subject, okay, of the indirect statement. Whose mother? My mother. It's a possessive. And then we have could be as our predicate. Okay, now beautiful automatically describes the mother, which makes it a predicate nominative. And bravo to some of you for seeing that. And then we have that comma, which separates the idea, and we have in, which is another preposition, in a what? In a world. Different here is an adjective, right, which agrees with world. So we have an object of the preposition right there. Okay, so other than that indirect statement, I think this was pretty straightforward today. I'm hoping that you recognize that sometimes, and we're following the story of Divergent sentence by sentence, so we're landing difficult clauses, we're landing very easy clauses, but I'm hoping that you get to see that when you do something very difficult and you struggle a little bit with it, it's okay. It's okay to struggle, guys. This is what gets us going. If everything was very easy, it eventually becomes boring and we stop doing it. So to challenge ourselves, we're going to get hit with very difficult things and very easy things like we've had today. Always remember, break up your sentence first into workable chunks. Use your punctuations. After that, find your subject and predicate. Once you have that done, that's more than half the work completed. Everything else is going back to learning your noun cases. So thank you so much for watching. The only thing left before I forget, I almost forgot to be honest, is to do the verb tenses. So we have she kisses, which is third person, singular. It's present, and you can probably guess, yes, it's simple and it's true. Next, we have she slides. Don't forget about that slides. It's third person, so I'm just going to do this exactly the same as on top. Also third person singular, present simple indicative. And then we have I think in the next clause, which is a first person singular. Yes, you guessed it, present simple indicative. Oops, I am really butchering my keyboard today. And then we have the next one, which is mother could be. Okay, so don't forget this could, okay, because this could, and I'll try to highlight it, is a clue that I am not an indicative, okay? So in other words, my mother could be, but she isn't. Now, when is that could she be or it isn't? If you're asking for a tense of a subjunctive, always look for the main verb, which is I think. If I think is in the present, then my mother could be beautiful right now in a different world, which is third person, singular, present, and it's a subjunctive. Okay? In other words, it could be right now, but it isn't. All right, awesome. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I've just a reminder for all of you who are watching these challenges on a regular basis, please check our daily agendas that are always posted in the mornings. I do have a sign-up sheet for you. to go over your intro paragraphs with you, and kind of look at where you made mistakes and what kind of corrections you can make. I really want you to learn from it, not just to create a sentence or create an essay, but to just really take your time with it. We have tons of time, guys. We can work on this one day at a time. So for those of you guys who are already finished, take advantage of the daily readings that we do. Come and talk to me. I have tons of materials that I can challenge you with if you'd like. But I want to make sure that everyone moves at their own pace and can learn from it. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow for another challenge. Take care. Bye bye.